Good evening, everybody. All right, praise the Lord. I'm so delighted and excited to see each and every one of you this evening. And I definitely want to say thank you, Pastor and Lady Marilyn in her absence for allowing us to have this church, this sanctuary, to be a part of something what I think is phenomenal. It's phenomenal simply because it's something that's going to help the legacy within our family. It's going to help our children become a better people. It's going to help us as individuals to go forward in what God has called us to do. And we are live streaming. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our our web streamers. I'm so excited that you guys have joined us. And those that are here, if you want to share with somebody, you could have them go to bignation.com or Victory International Christian Center, and they can go live stream and see this wonderful presentation. I want to also say thank you to, I call her Lady T, but she is Dr. Teresa Spiller and her family. I tell you, they are sharing their husband with people around the country. And I think that's an honor. And I definitely want to honor them for being such a wonderful family, sharing your husband and your father. Well, I'm getting out of the way because we are in for a treat. If you've never heard about Forex currency, you're going to hear about it tonight. And I want to thank all of you for joining us. We even had somebody drive from Huntsville, Alabama. We had people come here from Florida. So, this is something that is worth seeing. So share again, bignation.com or Victory International Christian Center, and they'll be able to live stream. So I just want to take the time to say, this is definitely a working man. I had to push him out of the house. Him and my husband have yap, 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 until I said, we got to go. But I'm thankful because, he is a man of God who has definitely shown himself to be a person who has interest in people personally. He wants to encourage people in every respect. And I got to share this because I think it's phenomenal. We even went to a meeting in New Orleans last night where he helped the people that had been incarcerated, as well as people, young men who are in universities and trying to, move their way forward. And he just said, I got your back. And I think that's such an honor. So grateful for that. Well, without further ado, I want to introduce to some, present to others, none other than Dr. Raphael Spiller of Houston, Texas.
How's everybody doing? I'm excited that you're here tonight, and I'm excited to be able to share this opportunity with you guys. Pastor, thank you so much for having me out, to be able to share my heart, my vision about what I feel God has been doing around the world now. We used to say just right in Houston, but the doors have really opened for us to be able to share this type of message with so many people who are looking at investing in a different way. And so to our online audience, and I see you guys here, I'm so glad that you have tuned into us. I have a presentation we're going to show you, but just tell you a little bit about who I am and why we're here and why I'm passionately traveling across the country, spending time with my family to make sure that I'm helping families around the world. I've been married to the same awesome wife. We've been together now forever. I think after 20 years, you just say ever. You don't even, I don't know if you still count or whatnot, but we've been together for a very long time. We have three beautiful children. I have a 16-year-old, should be 17 in November, my 15-year-old, and my son. Now, I'm throwing this out there because my 15-year-old, we're going through some health complications with her, with growth in her body as it pertains to her thyroid. And she's scheduled for surgery next week for some things we got to do, things of that. But in the midst of all that, I was like, you want Dad to stay home? She said, no, you got to pay for this. So you need to get out on the road and work. So But my 15-year-old, her name is Trinity. And my son, he's 13, his name is Raphael. And been together. I was actually a pastor for a number of years, and then God just transitioned me to start taking my ministry more or less on the road. My background is in economics and finance, and that's something that I've done to help people all around the country really get their finances together. And so this came to me, what I'm going to be sharing with you today, really at a pivotal point in my life where I needed it. Because you can teach a thing but not be fully invested in the thing. You understand what I'm saying? Or you could know a truth, but not necessarily be employing that truth in every area of your life. And so with my wife, myself, my family, we went through some very financial difficulties after the market collapsed in 2008. And just about everything collapsed at that particular point. And as it collapsed, you don't really fully know who you are until things begin to walk out of your life. And we went through that phase, repossessions, foreclosures, all those different things that we had to go through. And, you get in this certain place, you're just like, why me? I know about 10 other people you could have sent this to. But you chose me for me to go through it, but it made me a better man, better husband, better provider. But in the midst of that, going through that, I wouldn't have discovered what I've discovered now. Oftentimes we look at the difficulties that we experience in life, and we don't really know why we experience them until they're over. And if they become nothing else, they become proverbs for somebody else to live by. And your mistakes actually become someone else's wisdom. And that's what I'm going to be talking to you about tonight. Just the mistakes that we've made and how we're correcting those mistakes with the wisdom that we now have. Over the last 10 years, all of you probably have done the same thing I did. How many of you put your money in the bank in the last 10 years? Everybody, even online, everybody's put their money in the bank. Would you agree with me? Yes, absolutely. Over those last 10 years, you put your money in the bank. I have one question to ask you. One question to ask you. How much does your bank pay you in interest? Yeah, pretty much nothing. We would all agree it was actually nothing, right? Now, as a person who's a wise steward, now over his finances, I realize, and I get to say this now, and I say it around the world now, that I do not believe it's the will of God that we put all our money in the bank. Simply because when he talks about the talents, giving one man 5 talents, another man 2 talents, another man 1 talent. The one with 5 talents, the scripture says he went and traded it and made 5 more. The one with 2 talents, he went and traded it. It actually traded it, made 2 more. The one with 1 talent, what did he do? Took the talent, buried it, put it in the hole. He took the talent, buried it, put it in the hole. When the master came back for the money, he undug the talent, went back and presented the master with the talent. And the man says, okay, thou wicked and slothful servant. Now he calls him wicked and slothful. But why would you call him slothful if he dug a hole? Right? Because digging a hole is labor. So he wasn't physically lazy. The issue was that he was mentally lazy. And I think that that's where a lot of us are. We don't mentally know what to do with our finances. He said, the least you could have done was put my money in a place where it gained interest. The least you could have done was put my money in a place where it gained interest. And so when you put your money in the bank and your bank is not paying you any interest on your money, can we call that a hole? And oftentimes that's what many of us do. We put our money in holes and then we're not getting any return on that money. But good stewardship is knowing what to do with a dollar. And one of the things that I've given my life to now is I'm giving my life to show people what to do with a dollar. If there was a way for you to learn a skill and that skill will allow you to multiply your money for the rest of your life, would you be interested? If there was a way for you to learn a skill, I mean, really learn a skill, and that skill will allow you to multiply your money for the rest of your life, by a show of hands, if the skill was attainable, would you do it? Everybody in here would say, okay, if you can teach me and I can do this, we can do this. Well, when I first started this, I knew basically nothing about trading. I didn't know anything about it. And once it was presented to me in that fashion. It said, Spiller, would you be interested in learning a skill that could help you multiply your money? First thing I said was, am I selling something? Number 2, the next thing I asked is it one of those things? Come on, y'all talk. Come on. Can we be having an honest conversation? Right? Is it one of those things? Y'all know what those things is. I'm not talking about a triangle either. Was it one of those things? And he said, now you're asking me these questions, but I just asked you a question about a problem. I'm not coming to you to present an opportunity. I'm coming to you to present a solution. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want to talk to you about tonight is a solution. How many of you, this is your first time ever hearing what I'm going to share with you tonight? And so tonight, I just want to come to you talking to you about a solution. On tomorrow at 10 o'clock, I'm going to be showing you how we have amassed, in a very short period of time, multiple seven figures in what I've done. It only took me a year and a half to do it. And we've been able to do those things simply because I have dedicated myself to learning this skill. And this skill has put me and my family in a position to where no one that comes after me will ever deal with financial difficulty like I have. The same thing I'm going to talk to you about is the same thing I am now teaching my children. I've taught my 16-year-old. I've taught my 15-year-old. I've taught my 13-year-old, right? The same thing I'm going to teach you today is a part of what we call the Joseph Project, something that I'm doing right now where I'm helping convicted felons who get straight out of jail. As soon as you come out, I enroll you in my program and I teach you what I'm talking about teaching you as a rehabilitation project. Right? The same thing I'm teaching you is the same thing I'm now teaching to children. We just do something called 4X for Kids. We're going to now, what we've learned from this company is now paving the way for us to change generations around the world. Guys, can you understand what we have the ability to do when we get this done? I was sitting with a group of men who were all convicted felons on yesterday in New Orleans, a group of men. And when I start telling them what we're doing, and then, you know, the question they asked me, why are you doing this for us? He did it for us. Right? He said, I said, and I need you to hear me, I'm doing it for free. Right? Now, the reason why I said this was I know how hard it is when you want to do better. Oh, is there anybody know what I'm talking about? And it just seems like there's just no options. You want to do better. And you should see the men across the country. So far, we've helped 78 convicted felons learn what I'm getting ready to talk to you about tonight. Now, the reason why they're so eager is because they have nothing to gain but all to lose. When I come in, I talk to people who feel like they had all to gain and nothing to lose. You feel like you have options. Guys, I'm not coming to you to talk about an option tonight. Let's deal with a real life solution. But before we get into this PowerPoint presentation, let me tell you why this is a viable option. Number one, first things first, education. I'm not saying that I'm a disbeliever in education because I have my PhD, but I'm going to say this to you. Education is not doing for us what it did for us some years ago. How many people do you know that have a degree, have a school loan, but not even working in the field where they have the degree? Come on, talk to me. Even you online, if you listen to me online, you know someone that has a degree, they have the school loans, but they're not even working in the degree field. That's number one. And then as a caveat to that, not only are they not working in the degree field, we're dealing with why this is a solution. They can't pay their school loan and their living expenses at the same time. So how do we get a loan for education? And then the education that we have is really not prepping us nor preparing us, because then we still have to go through the interview process. Something's broken. I'm not saying that we shouldn't go to school. I'm saying that when you took skills out of school, I want to go here just for a second. Some of you are from my generation, a little bit older, where they used to have skills in school. So even if you made Fs, you still took auto mechanics. Oh, you understand what I'm saying? You still took home economics, cosmetology. Come on, do anyone know what I'm talking about? Wood shop, metal shop. They had all of these different skill-oriented courses that you could take in school, because every child was not going to be an A student, but every child could learn a skill. But whenever you want to control the economic populace of a people, you strip them of skills and you give them information masking as education. And can I be very transparent? It doesn't even matter what color you are. And that's what constant negative news wants us to hear. You call it CNN, but that's what they want us to hear, that there's some type of social, ethnic problem that we have. No, everybody's struggling. Doesn't matter what color you are. Guys, I want you to understand, we all need a solution. But in order to get a solution, we got to all see what the problem is. Because if information is what we're getting masqueraded as education, that's why everybody's just getting information. School has now become an assembly line for the employment force. And here's the second problem of why I'm offering a solution. Because retirement ain't what retirement used to be. Come on, y'all, talk to me. Social Security is not going to be around because there's millennials who don't want to work to pour into Social Security to make sure that Social Security is still going to be there. And as a result, Social Security is constantly diminishing. Oh, y'all, talk to me. With the new health care plan that come out, seniors were stripped of their benefits. No one's talking about it, but it's there. Guys, I need you to understand what's going on. As things are progressing, things are changing, and retirement, I want you to think about this. And because the average person doesn't do research on this, for why I'm going to give you a solution. Once you look at your retirement, I do these conventions and conferences all around the world now. And I was in Dallas. I'll throw this out for free. I was in Dallas, and I was talking in Dallas during a seminar similar to this. And then I did a training the next day, and there were some educators, some teachers who had worked for 30 years in the Dallas Independent School District. How many years did I say? How many years did I say? He retired. You know what he came up to me? He said, I just want to thank you, Dr. Spiller. I just said, for the program, he said, you don't understand. I've worked for the Dallas Independent School District for 30 years. I just retired, and I'm going to have to take a part-time job just to maintain the life that I had when I was working full-time. I said, you gave them 30 years and they didn't give you enough retirement. Do you know how many people are giving years? No, let's talk about being financially savvy. You know how many people are giving that many years and never look at their retirement portfolio to see what it's actually generating? Well, I'll tell you because I have. The actual retirement portfolio right now is generating somewhere between 4 to 6%. I'm not talking about 4 to 6% a day, 40% a quarter. Here's the problem, and many of us don't look at it, but this is the problem. So if retirement is generating between 4 to 6% a quarter, but inflation is 11%. Well, what does that mean, inflation 11%? What that means is your money's losing value. It's not catching up with inflation. So when it's time to retire, how many of y'all people here, especially my seniors, whom I love, but who I also spend a large amount of time with. I spend a large amount of time with seniors. I need all my seniors to hear me. I spend a large amount of time with seniors. And I'm getting seniors to understand you don't have to be a mathematical genius, an engineer, a doctor or a lawyer to understand what we're doing. I teach my seniors this. I can make it so simple you need somebody to help you misunderstand what you're going to learn. Right? But to be able to do that, I got to get them to understand, because when we start talking about this and they know they're in a financial situation, what do we do? Because their retirement is not enough. Do you think the lady at Walmart wants to stand and ask you for your receipt when you walk out? But do you think she has to take that job as a senior to cover what Medicaid don't cover anymore? Retirement is not what it used to be. And if we don't do something to catch up with the depreciation of the dollar, then whatever you have in retirement will never be enough. You didn't work all those years to be on a fixed income. No, you can't. The only thing that needs to be fixed is your animal, right? Because you're not trying to get and run around the neighborhood and procreate. The last thing you need is for your income to be fixed. You never want to have a fixed income, because what happens, because this is what happened in my house. What happens when your wife gets sick? You're both doctors, your wife gets sick, but you built your house on 2 incomes. What happens when one income leaves? You're in trouble. Your dream home, foreclosed. Cars, repossessed. Love to fish. I love to fish. When they came and got my boat, I almost gave up my life. It's just, they don't repossess a boat like they repossess a car. The police actually come and they give you to fill out something. I was like, y'all just couldn't take the boat? No, sir, that's not how we repossess a boat. It's like, well, it's at the dock. You just could have took it. You didn't have to. Now all the neighbors see y'all coming up here and got me signing paperwork. When they're taking from you, nobody's apologetic. And it was at that point that I said to myself, I never want to be here again, but I didn't have the knowledge. Now I need y'all to hear me. I'm a scholar. I love reading. I love reading. There is no difference between rich people and poor people. They don't have something special. The only thing that's different is knowledge. Rich people have goals. And here's another thing. I found this out. When the more money you get, you start getting in circles, you start hearing what people say, and you're like, I didn't know y'all think like that. But a rich person will tell their child, it really doesn't matter what grades you make if I own the company. I'm going to try that again. I don't want you to miss what I just said. A rich person will tell their son or daughter, listen, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're going to get on-the-job training. I was just talking to my friend Freddie Terrell, and he worked for a company called Zachary. Well, Zachary is a family-owned company. Have you ever heard of Zachary? It's a family-owned company. It's family-owned. It didn't matter what Mr. Zachary's sons did as it pertains to education. Their dad, I'm serious. Their dad owns the company. If your dad owns the company, you can C and D your way through school. But you will get on-the-job training that is priceless from being around your father, watching your father. You know what we don't have? We don't have a father that has the ability to bring us into the company and bequeath it to us just because it's our last name. But we should. The overall objective tonight is, I want to show you how we can balance the game. We balance the game by knowing what to do with our money, how to do it with our money. And if we can make it simple, so simple you can't mess this up. I said so simple you can't mess this up. So this week, let me give you a couple of testimonies before I go through the slideshow. I have I have this global chat room with people from all around the world, and they're in this global chat room, and they're all my students, right? Thousands of people are in this global chat room. They're all my students who I work with and train every day. Every Friday, they have to give me their report. So I got to see what they've done because I've made this easy for them. All right, and as I told you before, I trade in the market, and I make a ridiculous amount of money doing it. So I want to make sure that they're learning too. So every Friday they give me their progress report. So this Friday we had a couple of people knew who were started. They were so scared. I don't know. You know, and those were the husbands. And so what ended up happening was, once they saw how simple it was, I need everybody to hear me. This is so true. Once they saw how simple it was, this is the overall and overwhelming response I get from all of them. No one told us it would be this simple. I'm going to try that again. Nobody said it was going to be, not that easy. Now, there are some that are working their way through it, but then there are some, right? Now, personally, and I always like for people to research to make sure what I'm saying is true. I've personally created several people who have earned multiple six figures. Watch this, just this year alone. Just this year alone. And I like to publicize it. I like for them to do it. I don't like to brag on myself. I like for them to tell it. Oh my God, I would have never known. You know how many hours they work a day? You know how many hours? Maybe two? Two? Maybe three? If you're addicted like me. I'm sorry, guys. When I finish with this, there is a level of craving that you're going to have. Like, did we just do that in that short period of time? And so, guys, that's what we're going to do. So let me go through this real quick. I'm with a company called iMarkets Live, and they're going to be putting this on the screen so that you can see it. And you better follow me through this PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so iMarkets Live. Let's talk a bit about on the first slide. He's going to go through the first slide. I'm going to show you what this first slide is about. We are ready. Ready-ish. All right, that's our non-income disclaimer that's out there. Just wanted you to see that. But what we do with the power of trading. And we're working with the largest financial market in the world. Prior to today, ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have even heard of Forex? How many of you heard of it? You don't count. It's my friend here. How many of you have not heard of it? Let's try that. You've never heard of this before in your life. You know, guys, listen to me. That's the problem. Okay, let's try this. How many of you heard of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, commodities? How many of you heard of that? Right, all of us have heard of that, right? Right, now, why we never heard of Forex? Let me give you this true story. How many of y'all know who Jerry Rice is? Football player? Well, I was in a presentation and his brother was there. And I was talking about Forex. This is a true story. So I was talking about Forex. This is Jerry Rice. the number one wide receiver that ever played in the NFL, played for the San Francisco 49ers, so from multiple Super Bowl rings, all of this. So his brother's in the audience while I was in Las Vegas, and we were talking about Forex. And so he said, man, you had me when you started talking about Forex, because I didn't have a PowerPoint presentation. Then I had to just talk off the top of my head because our PowerPoint didn't work. And he said, you had me at Forex because I knew this was going to win. And then I started being confused because it's like, that's not the Forex I thought he was talking about, because I got excited. I said, what are you talking about? He said, I knew you were talking about Forex shirts because I wear a Forex shirt. That's what he said. God hear me, I'm not lying. God hears me, I'm not lying. He says, I wear a Forex shirt, and I know that it's a struggle for people my size to get Forex shirts. So I knew that we were going to make a lot of money. I'm looking at him like, there's no way in the world. You thought I was talking about a t-shirt, but he did. Let me tell you why. Rich people don't tell you where they have their money. You take stocks, bonds, mutual funds, commodities, take all of them, you combine them. That's $200 billion a day. Every day, $200 billion, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, exchanges hands. Pause. Right. If you went to Lieberman, Goldman Sachs, Fidelity, I can go down the line for all the big brokerage houses on Wall Street. They don't even mention Forex to you unless you have $500,000 prior to us being able to do this internationally. You had to have $500,000 in your account before they even introduced that to you. That's why we didn't hear of it. Forex alone is $5.3 trillion a day. We're not talking about billions, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try it again. Forex by itself is 5.3, research it, trillion every day. $5.3 trillion exchanges hands. I need you to hear me. I had one person ask me this about Forex. He says, well, what happens when the market crashes? I said, you know what? Forex can't crash. If Forex crashes, the world is going to collapse, because that's where everybody's money is around the world. In 2008, Forex didn't crash, Forex flourished. Let me tell you what happened. You remember 2008 when Wall Street got bailouts for those horrible loans that they were investing in? And if you watch this movie called The Big Short, let me make a plea to everybody. I know it's probably the reason why some of us have heard of it. I think all of us need to hear of it, because Big Short wasn't entertaining. The reason why I didn't get a lot of publicity is because it exposed what rich people didn't want you to know. During the housing collapse, when everybody was losing money, rich people were making billions of dollars. That was the movie The Big Short. The Big Short was about how the market collapsed, was exploited by rich people to make I didn't say millions, billions of dollars. We knew nothing about it. But it was the biggest land wealth transfer that had ever taken place up until the time of the Great Depression, during the time of Roosevelt. The biggest land. They were selling houses, they call them lots. It was 20 houses in one lot. 20 houses in one lot. And people were buying them pennies on the dollar to start selling them for hundreds on the penny. We didn't participate. We didn't participate. We were just so happy that the Lord gave us a house. We didn't know what an arm loan was. We just knew the arm of the Lord. The arm of the Lord. It's an arm. And they said arm, adjustable rate mortgage, never made sense to us. And people started losing those houses. They were giving loans to everybody. You could be a dead animal and wrote it in their name with a false social, and they would give you a house. They were setting up for a big collapse, and it collapsed. Guys, here's something I want to give. Newsflash. In 2020, it's going to happen again. You can guarantee that. But where will you be when it happens? How much liquid will you have this time around? Because all the wealthy did was transfer their liquid into property. The areas where they wanted the houses, they couldn't get them, but they could get them by giving loans to people who couldn't afford them. When those people defaulted on those loans, you could then go in and buy their house for pennies on the dollar. And that's what happened. Now, guys, I'm not mad at the rich because they're smart. The Bible says be wise as a serpent. We don't like that part, but we do understand be humble as a dove. So we have no problem with being humble, but we do have a problem with business wisdom. And so what I want to do today is force you to get some business wisdom, and I want you to start looking at Forex. All we do is trade currency every day. And I'm going to break this down where you can fully understand what we mean by trading currency. This is not one of those things where you buying these different currencies overseas and you're holding it, waiting for a transfer or that conversion that's supposed to take place. Because I had people that tell me, is it like buying the dinar? We're waiting for that. I said, no, this is not that, baby. You're still waiting, ain't you? It's not that. You still waiting. You still ain't no converted yet. They got all y'all to buy that currency. Ain't been no conversion. It's coming. I said, oh, you keep waiting. I'm going to keep doing Forex. And so what we were doing, guys, all Forex is buying and selling currency. Give you an example. Let's say that you went to Europe. You went where? You couldn't use your dollar in Europe. You'd have to exchange it for a euro. But the problem is that dollar would not equate to an equal of a dollar coming back to you. Did you hear what I said? Wouldn't equal a dollar coming back to you. Please, coming back to you. 88 cents. So your dollar is worth less in Europe than it is here. That 12 cents is how we make money. Any of y'all went to the airport and see those currency exchange things? I make money. Every time you exchange it, I make money. Every time you exchange it. Right, and you just look at it, you just pass by. Oh, I didn't pay attention to those currency exchange centers until I got in Forex. They're in every airport. I never saw them before. Oh, do you know how much times you can pass by money and never even recognize it because you didn't know what money is? Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? How many of y'all remember We Buy Gold? Did they do that down here in Mississippi? How many of y'all remember We Buy Gold? Y'all remember? Come on. Everybody had a commercial. They were putting signs out, We Buy Gold. And you saw that, and you sold your gold. But you didn't have the slightest idea that gold was at its lowest, that collapsed. They were buying your gold because they knew gold was going to rise. And they took your gold. And they flipped it. Legally. We needed some ready cash that wasn't worth anything, but they were ahead of time. Guys, can I get us ahead of time? Can I teach us something where we in the forefront? We ain't always behind. We the last one to know. We the last one to find out. Cryptocurrency. If you knew that Bitcoin was going to be a Bitcoin. Now we all heard of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, crypto. We didn't know what that was. Cryptocurrency came out in 2009. That's when it started echoing. But we wouldn't even know we had a job. Crypto, digital currency? Oh, no. And you didn't even know that you've been working with digital currency when you go to the casino. It's what they do is they tell you what they're going to do. But if your ears are not open to know what's going on, that will pass you again. So what Chris Terry has done is he's allowed us to plug into two of the largest financial markets in the world. Cryptocurrency, we're going to talk to you a little bit about that, and foreign exchange market. Now, here's what you got to understand. Every currency has a price point. Every currency has a what? What do they have? Those price points increase in minutes and decrease in minutes. They increase in hours, decrease in hours. And all we do is buy those price points. So if a currency appreciates, we buy it. If a currency depreciates, we sell it. If it appreciates, if it depreciates, if it appreciates, depreciates, let's not make this technical. If the euro is increasing in value, which means there's more value put on that particular currency than another currency. If it goes up in value, all we do is we buy each point that it goes up, and then we get paid on each point that it goes up. That sounds technical. I know we've had a job. I'm being extremely transparent because I'm not against jobs, but what jobs do, okay, let me ask you a question. How many of y'all jobs make you think? There are a couple people whose jobs, some of y'all jobs don't make you think. But I'm going to show you that most jobs don't make you think. Right? When a job is a routine, you use less and less of your mental faculties on that job. When you do the same thing day in and day out, over and over and over and over, typing over the same stuff, looking the same stuff, doing it, you do yes and less and less and less and less and less. All right, there's a study that talked about Alzheimer's. There's a study, just a study. I'm not saying it's true, but it is a study. You can look this up. That the less you do with your brain, the more your brain is relaxed. And so what they're doing now is they're coming out with all these word puzzles for you to use. Y'all used to laugh when you see older generations doing those crossword puzzles. right? And you don't do them anymore. Oh, y'all remember the things where you get the big book and you have to circle the words? And did you know that that was for your mental faculties to keep your brains working and functioning? But do you know what we've done with jobs? We gave you less responsibilities and more routines. And the more routine you do, and it's the same thing over, you use less and less and less of your mental faculty. And what happens adversely is that many of our jobs don't cause us to think anymore. So if I come to you with something that is different from what you do every day, 5 days a week, 9 hours a day, because you get a little lunch break, but that's all you do every day, and I come to you and I say, we're buying points. Points? That just sounds technical. No, I don't know. I need to pray about that. And, I don't know. The Lord may say, I don't know. Now, you ain't prayed about that job. Come on. You didn't pray about Chase. Well, let me see if I need to give them my money since they ain't going to give me no money. And then they're going to take my money and use my money to make more money. Then they're going to charge me when I don't have enough money. And all they're going to do is give me a piece of plastic and give me access to some of my money, but ain't nobody prayed about that. But we do have to pray about what we're not using. Well, my discernment, I just don't know. And I talk to people all the time, and I say this, I'm not against discernment. I am against trying to be spiritual to masquerade ignorance. Because what we need to do is if something's not working, we got to fix it. The only reason the Christ man came, because something wasn't working. And when it's not working, you have to have a conscious interrupt that comes to you and say, there is a better way. You don't have to keep doing it this way. There's a better way. And I'm here to show you a better way. Let's hit the next slide. So what we're going to do now is talk about the figureheads of our company, Mr. Christopher Terry, Isis De La Torre, their husband and wife. But both of them worked on Wall Street. And they had a vision to bring Wall Street to your street, right? And to be able to do that, guys, they didn't go through conventional commercials and things like that to get this information out to you. They partnered and brought their company into a multi-level marketing complex or multi-level marketing concept. And they said, in order to get this information out, we're just going to use what people do every day. We're just going to get them to tell the story and see how this works for them. And what they did is they went out and hired Alex Martin, who's our executive vice president, and Ivan Tapia, who's our vice president of sales. And both of these guys have ultimate experience. I'm talking about mega experience in building large organizations just by dispensing either products or information. But in this case, what they did was they cast a lot with Mr. Christopher Terry and Isis De La Torre to be able to get this information out to us, and I'm so glad they did. If it wasn't for these gentlemen using the vehicle of multi-level marketing, I would be broke. I would still be in 2016 trying to find my way out of where we were. But because of this particular entity and someone sharing this with me, I learned the skill. Not only am I learning, I gave you my testimony earlier, we're giving this to children, giving this to convicted felons because that was my heart and that's what I believe and that's what I'm doing. But now you know what I'm doing, which I didn't think I would be doing. So we're giving it to people who go to church. We're now in churches all across the country. We're sharing this with ecclesiastical leaders and sharing with their congregations and giving their people a skill and showing them that they can take the money and multiply it. That's their vision, to create a true vehicle of wealth where people can learn how to take dollars and turn them into tens and tens into hundreds and hundreds into, I had people today, and I'm not making any income claims, and I'm just telling you their testimony. What would it be like if you went this week? I had one girl that made $1,200 this week, had another person that made $1,500 this week, just this week from trading, had people who were making $300 a day, $500 a day. What happens when you start positioning yourself to see that type of return on your money and you wouldn't see it nowhere else? I have people who are doing 5% a day. I put them on a regimented schedule. I said, I want you to grow this account by 5% every day. That's all I want you to do. And I asked them to do this for me. And I'm going to actually do the same thing. Commit for 1 year. You gave the job 20, you could at least give me one. Right? Give me 1 year. Give me 1 year to show you how to do this. And we're going to grow your account every day by 5%. And I showed them how to take a $200 account. How much? And grow that $200 account doing 5% a day, every day, 5 days a week, 20 trade days a month, and I show them what that amount would become. I'm going to show you on tomorrow. If you come out here tomorrow, I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you my brain trust. I'm going to give you my strategies. I'm going to give you my skills, and I'm going to show you how I did it, how we've amassed what we have right now that has put my family in a whole different financial situation. Guys, if you can put yourself in position to hear, it'll change your life forever. Forever. 5% a day. 5% 1 year. When they saw, have you ever understood, they never taught us compounded interest in school? Do you know what 5% a day will do on $200 in 90 days? I'll tell you. This is an example. They didn't teach us this, but I'm not saying that you're going to do this, but I'm saying it's possible. 5% a day. So the first 90 days you'd have from $200, 5% every day, $3,557.94. I'm going to ask everybody here a question. If you could do that, not saying that you can, but if you could do that, would that be a good return on your investment? It was only $200. I want you to put that $200 in the bank. What you can make in 90 days. Right? I want you to put that $200 in the bank. I want you to come back in 90 days. I want you to tell me how much you got. No, tell me how much you got. $200, put it in the bank. I want you to come back in 90 days. Tell me what you got. I'll tell you exactly what you have, and it won't be $200. Yeah, they're going to charge you a $12 service fee. That's $36 from your $200. So now you got $164 as a result of holding in your precious credit union. I've never, you know what I never understood? People defend a credit union like they own it. I'm with a credit union. I'm like, I said, stop. That's not your bank. And they're doing to you what everybody else is doing. No, everybody's out to make money off of our money. OPM, other people's money. And they want your money. Oh, come on. Guys, we can transition and transfer and counteract this by putting ourselves in a different position. Next slide, please. And so what they did was they came up with something called IML Academy. It takes you step by step, each step. I'm talking about from the basics where you're talking about what is Forex, the history of Forex. Right? They start teaching you acronyms and terms like what is a PIP, PIP. I'm not talking about Gladys Knight here. But a PIP, it stands for price interest point. They take you through that. They have all these different videos on what an uptrend is, what a downtrend is. Guys, I can tell you I knew none of this stuff prior to Our Markets Live. Market consolidation, I knew none of that. But it gave me the foundation that I needed. I took that foundation and I asked my wife this. I said, listen, we broke. I don't want to be here anymore. You don't want to be here anymore. God didn't make us to be in this position where we can't pay our bills on time. Living off of credit cards. I don't know if y'all ever did that before. Buying chicken with the feathers still on it. No, that's the truth. I'm serious. It was feathers. No, God hear me. Now, my kids know. We buy that chicken out of the cheap grocery store. I'm serious. And the feathers were still on the chicken. And we plucking feathers off the chicken. We boiled it, we baked it, we fried it. I'm talking, we grilled it, we barbecued it. We had chicken every kind of way. I don't do chicken now. Chicken breast, chicken wing, hot wings. No, my wife, no, don't bring no wings to me. I can't stand a chicken. I can't stand the smell of it. If you cook it, I'm gonna just walk out. I can't. But when you do chicken for years, how many of y'all remember them soups with the bouillon cubes? No, we went about the noodles, and we didn't have chicken that day, but we had a chicken flavor. Now I know. Maybe y'all don't know what I'm talking about, but there's somebody here who struggle, and them kids, my children sitting there, they eating like they just happy, and I'm sitting back as a man, and I'm saying to myself, "Where's the chicken in this soup?" My wife looking at me. I said, You know, this is when it's. Have you ever bought cheese that didn't melt? Yeah. No, y'all not hearing me. God, you know I'm not. You know I'm telling the truth. This is the honest God truth. I bought cheese. We had hot dogs, and we put the cheese on top of the hot. God, you hear me? You know I'm not lying. Put the cheese on top of the hot dog. Put it in the microwave, and the cheese came out just as hard as it was before we put it in the microwave. My kids are sitting there chewing on the cheese like you're chewing on beef jerky. And it's like, Daddy, it's sticking to my teeth. I can't talk. And I'm sitting there like, as a father, as a man, I'm sitting there saying, this cannot be the will of God for my life. So we don't eat hot dogs no more. There are several things you cannot bring in my house. Chicken and hot dogs. I got a couple of others too. Bouillon cubes. I don't want to see them. We would have beef, vegetable, and chicken. And we'd have a medley. It would be a beef flavor, vegetable, chicken, and then they came out with these little small shrimp. We had false gumbo. Y'all not talking to me. We have noodles that look like, I said, this is gumbo. This is a different style. Y'all never had this before. And it'd be them little bit of shrimp in there. My son was like, Daddy, the shrimp are chewy. I said, son, swallow it. Swallow the shrimp. Swallow it. We were there, guys. I know when we think about looking at it, when I look back at where we were, I look back at where we were. Now I have my own personal chef. Yes, he does. He comes in, he cooks. He has a classical French background, and he has an understanding. Don't bring no chicken in my house. I don't care how you. He said, Dr. Spiller, I said, brother, look. If I see a chicken, I'm going to see feathers. I don't need to see no chicken. And so we went through that. Guys, the life that I'm living now, I know I'm in the will of God, not because I'm rich. I know I'm in the will of God because I have the knowledge. If you took all my money right now, you can't take what IML gave me. I could do it all over. Oh, y'all not hearing me. I'm going to try it again. You could take everything I got right now. I went to Africa. I was doing the same type of conference in Kenya. I went to Mombasa, Nairobi, and Kisumu. And I said, the skill that I have now, you could take all my money, leave me on the street in Mombasa. And I would sit on the corner and beg. And I would beg. And I would beg. By the time I got $20, I need you to hear my words. You gave me $20. All I need is 20. I can open a brokerage account with 10. You give me $20, and I'll multiply that $20 every day. I told them in 60 days, I wouldn't be homeless. I'd buy me some clothes. I'd have me a nice home. In 6 months, many of you in this room will be working for me. In a year, I will be in and influencing the government with the money that I have as a result of what I made from trading and investing in the foreign exchange market. You give me $20, I can turn $20. Now I can turn 20 into $1 million with knowledge. What Christopher Terry did when he created this, over 100 plus videos, that's going to give you the same thing that I went through. Changed my life. Next thing, next slide. They have a mentorship program called iMarkets Live Television. Over 1,000 hours a month. These are live educators that come on. Well, how are we going to access the information? Everything's online. So you're not driving to a school or anything like that. Everything's right online. You can access it from your computer, your laptop, your desktop, but hear this, you can even access it from your phone. We have people who are watching videos right from their phones. Watching videos right from their phones. Watching live presentations. These guys take you through step by step by step, showing you how they trade. That's how I learn. I watch these people. Listen, I cut off movies. I told my wife, give me 90 days. No date night. I need 90 days. No going out, no doing that extra. I need 90 days. Let me concentrate for 90 days. I said, if I can get this in 90 days, we'll never be broke another day in our life. My wife gave me that 90 days. She gave me 90 days to study. And then after that 90 days of study, I started trading and I started losing money. That's a true story. I lost a lot too. And she came in one day, she said, I don't think you trading. I think this gambling. And I was like, no, I'm really trading. She said, no, I ain't seen a dime. But I have seen negative transactions because you keep coming back. I said, sweetie, that's the only way I'm going to learn. Let me go through it. Right? Thank God for the spirit of wisdom that came on her. She let me go through it. I'll never forget the first time I made $1,000. $1,000. I took my family out to eat. We had crab. No, I'm serious. I mean, we had so I'm talking. We had some crab. We sitting at the table. My kids, they was eating like they were hungry kids out of Somalia. They just, so I said, son, slow down. Dad. My son he's a big kid like his dad. I said, slow down, son. The people, they need to think we've been here before. So we went through and my wife said, can we order some more? So we ordered some more. They went through it. Then my girl said, Daddy, can we have some more? So I said, I ain't trying to spend everything I just got from trading on this one meal. But it was a meal that I wanted to celebrate with my family with because it was something that I created from a skill that I had learned. I'll never forget when I did my first $10,000, my first 20. I remember 1 week, I made 6 figures in 1 week. No, you're not hearing me. I made 6 figures in 1 week. Can you imagine? We were poor. And you go from this to physically seeing yourself make 6 figures in 1 week. I remember I was in the Cayman Islands and I was showing people in the Cayman Islands what we had learned. And I entered a Bitcoin trade. And I made $30,000 in 3 minutes. But it was live, so I wanted everybody to see it. You know, people ain't gonna believe you until they see it, you know. I can tell you all that I made $30,000 in 3 minutes. Somebody look at you like, bro. So I videotape every transaction I do. And I had to do it. And I videotape withdrawals because I wanted them to see the withdrawals. Then I videotape, and I'll never forget this. And I'm not bragging on anything I've been able to get. I'm boasting in God because I remember we had a climate control car. How many of y'all have a climate control? Whatever it is on the outside is what it is on the inside. We had climate control. We were riding. My kids like, would you go fast, Dad? It's too hot. Just to get some wind to blow. And we figured out, because I had a sunroof. I didn't know that if you raise the sunroof down and raise the back windows down, there's a balcony that comes through the whole car. And my kids, when the sunroof broke in the car, everybody refused to ride because there was no more wind blowing through the car. They said, we can't ride with you. We would have to change clothes because we sweat. You know, Houston, I don't know if y'all know how hot Houston gets. It's nasty, wet heat. My kids like, Dad, we can't go. I'm looking in the backseat of the room, they look suffering because it's so hot. And I'm saying to myself, but I told God, I said, God, I put myself on a financial plan. Anything I want, I trade for it. 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 I wanted my wife to have a car. She wanted a Maserati. I traded for it, paid cash for it. Cash. I don't have no note. Don't have a note. After we got evicted out of the house, I told my wife, if you stay with me, I'll make it up. I pawned her earrings. I pawned my jewelry, pawned everything. I said, but if you stay with me, make it up. Everything we have, I traded for it. Everything we have, I traded for it. I wanted a Bentley, but I didn't want no note. So I did a live trade, and I showed my team, I'm going to trade for this car. Went and purchased the car for cash. Anything else? We just built our home. Our home is not finished being built. It'll be finished by the end of November. Paid $3.4 million, but I paid it through trading. And I show everybody this is what you can do when you learn the skill. I'm here in Mississippi, and I'm hoping. I have people, some people know me. That's why some people drove as far as they drove, or a referral, or someone talked to me. My friend Lawrence invited my friends to come down here, and they came down to see me. And some who drove from Huntsville, right? Saw me, came down, saw Dr. Spears with me. There are some people who know my testimony, know what we've done, but they also know how bad it was, because in 2012, I attempted to commit suicide because we had lost so much, and I didn't know how we we're going to come out. But when God has a plan for you, right? He won't let anything come on you until he finished with you what he want to do with you. And so what happened with me was I knew that he was going to get me through this. I just had to have a no quit, no limit. I had to have an attitude that, listen, if other people are doing it. And when I found out who was doing it, let me tell you what really drove me. In January of 2017, we had a convention in Dallas, and they brought all these young kids on the stage, young kids that were six-figure earners in Forex. And I'm looking at them, and I'm broke. And I'm looking at them, they're 21, 22, 24. And I'm saying to myself, what do they have that I don't have? And they're making six figures, and they're trading. No. And that's when I threw all my excuses out. Now, you know, I know I look very young and very attractive, but I have to tell you, this gray hair, I mean, I've been able to hide my age very well, but I ain't as young as you think I am. But one of the first things that came to me when I first saw this was, I don't know if I can do that. I didn't graduate magna cum laude. I graduated thank you laude, right? I barely got out of there. I'm so glad I got degrees on the wall. Don't even tell me how I got them, right? I wrote papers, I'm saying, listen, and I always wrote a note on each paper. This may not meet your standard, but just know I'm only in here as a result of a learning disability, right? And I would write that on everything because that's what they said to me in school. I had a learning disability. You'd never be able to amount to this, amount to that. And I was ADHD, right? They wanted to put me on Ritalin and all that other stuff. And all that. My mom said, I ain't putting him on nothing. We're going to pray this off of him. Well, they couldn't pray it off. It was just stayed there, you know. But I just feel it was a gift from God because it was this, going through this that did it. Next slide. Next slide. As I went through this, they have proprietary products that taught me how to trade and make trading easy for me. They have one thing called the harmonic scanner. It actually scans the market for you and give you trades to take yourself. Now you ain't doing the work. Somebody else is doing the work for you. Why don't you let someone else do the work and then make money off of their efforts? Guys, this is what this is about. We're making money off other people's efforts just through this hard money scanner. That's something I teach you how to use. That's something I teach you how to use. That's something I teach you how to use. As a result of you a part of this overall awesome opportunity. The next slide, please. It's another proprietary product that we have on this next slide. This next slide is going to show you the web analyzer. This web analyzer is another tool that also scans the markets and give you high probability trades as well. We make money from that too. I have a lot of different concepts and constructs that we have here. Next slide, please. Mr. Christopher Terry, who's our CEO, every Sunday night he does something called night owl sessions. Thousands of people are on there to listen to Christopher Terry. He's a 20-plus year veteran in the markets of trading, and he's teaching people how to trade in the foreign exchange market himself. He's managed accounts with more than $50 million in those accounts that he's traded with, and he's giving you his secrets on what he's done to trade. I've also been able to sit at his feet and learn from him as well, and that's why I'm a profitable trader today. Next slide, please. We also have something called Swipe Trades. This is an app that you can download to your phone. And we have traders who actually work for the company. They'll send you trades that they're analyzing, that they're going to take, and you can use those trades and make money from those trades as well. Guys, you can get trades coming to your phone as an alert. Zzz, zzz, zzz. How many alerts do you get to your phone that make you money? How many alerts do you get to your phone that ask for money? How many of y'all just don't answer the phone? You see the number, I don't know who that is. I don't know what they want. But the Lord is telling me not to answer. Right? And you just don't answer the phone or let it go through. Strange number come through. Right? Now the bill collectors got smart. They don't even call from unknown no more. They call from the area code in your neighborhood. 281. I wonder if that's somebody I know. Hello? This call is being recorded. This is an opportunity to collect the debt. You're looking at the phone like, that ain't Johnny. Right? Because somebody called you. They got smart on their game. Next slide, please. Right? Then we have something called Swipe Coin, and this is what's been very popular because we trade in cryptocurrency. We trade in what? All right, if you've never heard of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Dash, there's so many different cryptocurrencies out there, and you can trade them and make money from them. Now, that's why I started making the majority of my money was from crypto trading, because everybody, when Bitcoin was coming out, everybody was going out to buy Bitcoin, and I told them it's too late. Please don't jump in there. It's too late to buy it. But what you can do is trade it, because Bitcoin has a value too. And so while Bitcoin was appreciating in value, we were buying it. Boy, we were buying it. Boy, we were buying it, right? We were buying it. So as Bitcoin was going up, we were making money. Now Bitcoin crashed. The CEO of Chase came out, made some discrepancy remarks about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin almost crashed. See, rich people know how to come out and make it drop so they can get back in and make more money going back up. Well, since then, Bitcoin has never reached back up till right, it was almost $20,000 a coin. It's now right around, hanging around about $7,000 a coin. But at $20,000 a coin, to float it up like that, rich people, the only reason why it crashed is because rich people took their money out. And so when they took their money out, that was billions. When they took their money out, well, Bitcoin just started coming down again. But guess what? When it comes down, what do? So we made money while it was coming down. Well, we have an app that you can download to your phone called Swipe Coin, and they send you live cryptocurrency trades as a result of that. The last slide is going to talk to you about what does it cost to enroll as a student. This is what I do love about our company. We are into students. Now, I need you to make sure you hear me. There are two parts to what we actually do today. First part I'm just talking about is just becoming a student customer. And to be a student customer, all you got to do is enroll as a student. We take you through the program. You start learning how to trade on your own. This doesn't require for you to recruit, train, coach, or ask anybody anything. This is just you on your own. Now, how many of you have ever tried one multi-level marketing company in your life? At least one. You did something right. How many of you have not made any money, even when you tried and there really wasn't no money coming through? You don't really see people make six figures. No, you just don't. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why multi-level marketing doesn't work for the massive amount of people. Because only 3% of the people who get involved actually accelerate. Now, you're looking at a 3%er, because I'm a 3%er. But I'm going to tell you why I'm a 3%er is because I walk with 3%ers. What I started noticing was 3%ers do something different that 97%ers don't do. The reason why 97% of the people fail is because 97% of the people copy the 97% that fail. Let me try that again. Right? I was once told, it says, if you want to be successful at this and make this ridiculous amount of money that people are making, can you ignore, if a room was full of 100 people, if a room was full of what? Imagine church. It's 100 people in your church. Right? We're all in the room. The ratio is out of that 100 in the church, only 3 are successful. And 97% are just copying the 97%. Or the 97 people are copying 97 people. But 3 people. Now, in church dynamics, church stewardship, they teach you 20% of the people actually float the church. 80% just happy to be there in the Lord's presence. Right, come on, talk to me. Everybody will know. Dum, 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 dum. Woo! Woo! All that air conditioning they sucked up. Right? They sucked up a lot of air that Sunday. But then when the tithe and offering came, the Lord ain't told me to give nothing. Or the Lord understands I'm giving what I have. Come on, y'all, talk to me. Right, but the ratio is still the same, but 20% of the people take care of what 80% won't. Now, that's in the church. But if the church told the truth, 3% in that 20 give more than the 17. Come on, just look, I pastored for years. I got 17 years under my belt pastoring a church. I can tell you, out of the 20, 3 out of that 20 floated everything. Everything. Now, let me ask you this. This is why we are successful. You can never give $1 million idea to a $1 mind and expect that $1 mind to receive and ingest that $1 million idea. Never works. Pause. If 97 people had access to your ear, could you ignore the 97 to find the 3 who winning and find out why they winning? That is the difference and the only difference between winners and losers. What I said was, T, we too broke. One of my 97%ers was my wife. I love my wife. She cashes all my checks. She got all of it today. But I couldn't ask my wife a financial question because we both were broke. So we both were unqualified to say what I needed to do. I couldn't ask. I love my mom. I pay all my mom's bills, every last one of them. The house I'm building right now, I've only put an elevator in it so my mom can go to the floor where her suite is in my house. But my mom could not tell me how to make money. I love my mama. My mama has a master's in psychology, and that's why we partly messed up right now. And she used that. How many of y'all know anybody did any psychology? I mean, it will mess with you. My mom told me this, true story. She said, if you kiss a girl, you'll get her pregnant. That's what my mom told me. I won't tell you how long it was before I kissed one, because it took me a while to process that. But if you hear it all your life, you know, girl tried to kiss, I said, oh. And I kissed a girl in high school. I said, we got to get married. God, you hear me? You know, I'm lying. She said, what are you talking about? I said, I'm not going to have a baby that I can't take care of. And she's looking at me like, you crazy. I said, no, I ain't. I went home, told my mom, I'm 9th grade. You lied to me. You told me if I kissed a girl, I'd get her pregnant. She ain't pregnant, mama. She said, son, what I tried to tell you is that kissing leads to pregnancy. That's a true story. True story. But what started happening was I started introducing this opportunity, because if you research people who did Forex investing, any class, the minimum is $5,000. That's minimum, right? Right? There are people who pay $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for a course. What I love about Chris Terry is he made it cheap, because you enroll as a student for $200, $200, $200, $200. There's a monthly tuition as a student that's $145 a month. Now, what that's going to give you is access to the academy, our Mortgage Live TV, the harmonic scanner, and those 9-hour sessions with our CEO. You're going to get that for that one basic package, $145 a month. And please don't say the $145 a month is a bill. Well, how are we going to pay it? That's why we teach you how to trade. Why not trade and pay the tuition? Why not trade and pay the tuition? Now it's not coming out of your pocket. Why not trade for it? Let your trading pay for your monthly tuition. That's what we teach people how to do. Don't let it come out of your pocket. Just trade for it and make it happen that way. And one of the things I'm excited about, is what we've been able to do with this. Now, I was told, Pastor, this is a true statement, and I have to say this. Please take this the right way. You wasting your time going to Mississippi, trying to tell those people about trading and investing. I'm very transparent. I ain't finna hide nothing from y'all. Tell you the truth. No. You have to go to cities that are more industrialized. The people are more savvy about money because people are in those small places are just, no, they are working class. Nothing wrong with them. They're just working class people. They work hard, and that's what they want to do, and they retire. They work hard, that's what they want, and they retire. And they gamble. That's what I was told. I said, no. If God didn't introduce me to Brenda Terrell, right? That's a true story. I wouldn't be here. Now, here's another thing. I talk to large audiences, but I know that we're here to plow and make something happen. Eyes may not get everybody, but eyes gonna get somebody. And we's gonna set as many people free as we can. We're gonna pull you out one way or another. You're gonna learn this. Kicking or screaming, you're gonna learn it. Because I'm not gonna let you quit. I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna talk to you, Brenda gonna call you. We're gonna create a network of people right here in this area that you can plug into and tap into. And we're gonna make sure, and I promise you, and some of you didn't think I was telling the truth. I told you I was coming back. I said, you give me 30 days, I'm coming back. I changed my schedule. And then I called because y'all had a hurricane somewhere close. And so I called Brenda. I said, no, I ain't called Brenda, my secretary. So who called you? My secretary? My secretary called her. She said, Dr. Spiller just wants to know, is it okay? I don't know if Brenda was telling the truth or not. She said, everything's fine down here. We fine. I told Janisha, I said, but the storm looked like it's, she said, Brenda said, everything fine. You on that plane. It's already been scheduled. So I got on the plane. I came here for today and tomorrow. And I want to invest myself back into you. I gave her my word. And guess what? I'll be back in another 30 days. I'm going to make sure that I dedicate my time, my energy, my effort to make sure that you don't have no reason to say you ain't no trader and you don't know how to trade and that trading stuff don't work and that handsome guy just lied the whole time. No, I'm going to make sure that people that want it get it. And those that don't want it, one of the things I have the ability to do, ignore 97 people and find 3. That's my difference, as I find the 3 and I work with the 3. You know what the 3 gonna do? They'll find 3 more. Right? Now, one of the things that happens is we have a scholarship program. Hit 2 slides for me. Click and then click. One more time. We have a scholarship program called Tutoring Free. Every student gets a student referral link. And if you find or know 2 people that want to learn this with you, you can send them that student referral link and your 145 is waived permanently. As long as they're learning at the same time that you're learning, you're not paying 145 anymore. And that also has helped people be able to access this program. Now, that's the first part I want to talk about. The second part is even quicker, but the first part was just about you learning this skill. I have a question to ask you. I don't care who you are. I just want to ask an honest to God question. If what I said was true and you can learn this skill and you can multiply your money by a show of hands, how many of you think that this would be a wise thing to do? If what I said was true and you can make money the way I said it, how many by a show of hands would think that something like this would be something that you could do? All right. Thank you for the showing of your hands. Now, what I want to do now is just talk about a part on how I actually built my empire of financial prosperity, not just by actually going through the academy. I actually invested in the business side of what we do. At the next slide. I want to talk to you about becoming a business owner. This is not for everybody. This is just for the people who understand that if you have a viable product that's working, that people want it. I'm going to ask you a question. I ask, if you made money, how many people would want to make some money? If you made it. And so what started happening was the reason why I became successful is because people started making money. Next slide, please. What I started doing is I started going out and I started sharing this opportunity with my family, my friends, and all of them told me no. So let me just go ahead and get that out. My mama, I'm about to learn how to invest and trade my money. Now, what I didn't tell y'all earlier, I'll tell you now. I was a pharmaceutical distribution rep in my neighborhood. Y'all catch that on the way home. And I had midnight pharmacists throughout my whole neighborhood. Dispensaries. And I was the black sheep of my family. So I did all that kind of extracurricular things. Some of y'all still don't know what I'm talking about. It's okay. But I did all those extracurricular things. And so I was always the one in my family that was hustling and trying to make things. Somebody just finally called her. She's like, oh, it's pharmacy. Oh my God. But it's a true story. I did for a very long time, from the age of 12 to 24. And that's what I was doing. So I was a late bloomer and everything like that. But my mom said, I'm going to pray this off of you. Pray it off of you. I said, I don't know if it doesn't own me, but whatever you're going to do it. But it worked. So when I came to her and I said, Mom, I'm investing, she said, son, listen to your mother. I'm your mother. Am I not your mother? Psychology. Yes. Listen to me. Have I ever steered you wrong? That's a trick question. But you have to say no. No, Mom, you never have. You have a PhD. Why won't you become a college professor? You'd have your tenure by now. Why are you doing this? I said, Mom, I tried it your way. I'm about to invest. And I want to know if you want me to invest with you. And I can help you. You know what Mom said? No, son. I don't need nothing to mess with my Social Security. I said, the stuff you say not enough? Yeah, but it's guaranteed. It come every month. I get a check from me and your daddy. I said, so I called my sisters. I got 4. She called them. Now Ralph's gonna call y'all about investing. Now I ain't telling y'all not to do it, but you know, it is your brother. So I called one. It's like, let me call you back. She wouldn't call back. I called the second one. No, I ain't ready. Call the third one. The third one is a snitch. She said, call me back. So I called the fourth, and the fourth one didn't answer the phone. So I called the third one back. You know, Mama called us. I said, what'd she say? You trying to invest money. I said, what does she say? She don't know if it's legal or not, and we need to start praying again. No, y'all laughing. I'm looking, I'm like, my mama. I come on back. I said, what you doing? She said, I was just telling them to pray. I didn't know what you was in. And I know you were struggling financially. And we didn't prayed you out of that life. I just know you ain't going back. I said, Mama. But who know you best? Family think they do. So what did I do? I started going out to strangers. People that have influence with. And I started talking about trade and investing. And everybody that signed up, I told them, I said, I'm building a financial university. In this financial university, we're enrolling students, and these students will learn a skill that will teach them to multiply their money for the rest of their life. If you want to learn how to do this, go ahead and sign up with me. And they start signing up. Everybody that signed up with me, I got $35 commission for each one of those students that enrolled in my own financial university. I took that $35. What did I do with it? I traded it. I didn't use one dime of my own money. I traded all of Krista Terry's money. So if I lost it, I lost Chris' money, not my money. Every time, $35. But what started happening was other people started making money in the program. So as an example, I talked to Brenda, but Brenda went and talked to her niece, right? And so when her niece came in, I got paid $10 for when her niece joined. But then her niece went and talked to her friend. And when she talked to her friend and her friend joined, I got paid an additional $5. So I got 35. I got 10 off of Brenda's effort. I got 5 off of her niece's effort. I did what Walmart does to their employees. I make money off of other people's efforts. I did what your job does to you, what it did to all of us. It's going to use your effort to make money. And guys, that's the wisest way to make money. The wisest way to make money is not using 100% of your own efforts, but try to find people to use their efforts to make money off of their efforts. When I went to the I was at Beau Rivage. I'm in Beau Rivage, right? I'm looking and it's like, I'm not going to gamble this time, but I'm inside of there. And while I'm inside of there, I'm looking at all these people who are in there working. And I ask myself, who's making money off of their efforts? Somebody is not being the bellhop because somebody's paying somebody what they think they should get paid to be the bellhop. Somebody's making money off of them. There was a person named Michael who took my money to get me a room. Who's making money off of Michael's efforts? There was a greeter standing in the hallway making sure that people couldn't walk by. Who's making money off of his efforts? There's somebody working in the store. Who's making money off of their efforts? Everybody's there working, and while they're working, there's somebody who's not working but thinking how to make them work so they can continue to make money off of their efforts. Why don't we think like that? Why don't we think like somebody should, doggone it, somebody need to be working for us. We need to have other people out there. And there's nothing wrong with making money off of efforts of other people. I hear people say this all the time. I don't want nobody making money off of me. I say, boo, you got a job. Boo, if you got a job, somebody's making money off of your efforts. And we need to think the same way. And what I did was I built an empire off of 35, 10, and 5. 35, 10, and 5. 35, 10, and 5. Next slide. Now, how did the empire come? Because I got that money. But then when I personally got 3 people enrolled, the company started paying me $150 a month on top of the 35, 10, and 5. Yeah, I started getting $37.50 a week. Don't you sneeze at $37.50. Because if I gave you $37.50 every week I gave you $37.50, and then 1 week I stop, you ain't say nothing. The second week I stop, you call to see if I'm fine. Hey, I'm just checking on you. You okay? You don't ask me for the money, but you just want to make sure I'm good. Oh, I'm good. Oh, I'm just checking on you. Just make sure everything's fine. Right? You would miss that $37.50. Well, I got my organization. I had 12 people that would learn how to trade. I started getting a $600 check a month, but they broke it up and I was getting $150 a week. Now, I went from $37.50 to $150. The only thing I didn't do was increase by 9 people. What type of raise is that on your job? Then I had 30 people. Now, guys, I need to tell you this. I did this in one meeting. I called everybody. Look, if you was in my phone and as broke as I was, you was going to call. Just hang up in my face. I really didn't care, but I was going to at least talk to you and say, hey, over the last 10 years, you made a deposit in your bank. How much they paid you in interest? Same pitch every time. So, well, nothing. I said, what if there's a way that we could both learn the skill together and the skill will cause us to multiply our money for the rest of our life? Would you be interested? Yes. Listen, I'm having a meeting with some of my rich friends at their house. I'm poor. But my rich friend had a house. You had to drive into the neighborhood, you got to go through the security. So everybody that was driving up had to go through security. They like, oh, Raph done came up. I ain't came up. I just used leverage. I used somebody else's intellect, money, and power to show that I was connected to somebody that knew what they were doing. When those people got in this man's house, this multi-million-dollar home, they looking around. I'm like, yeah, just keep looking. When he came in, he did exactly what I'm doing for you today. Those people, I became a Platinum 1000 in one night. Now, what you didn't know is when I became a Platinum 1000, I got $250 a week. How much? How much? We're on the verge of an eviction. I didn't have no choice. Some of y'all have choices, but I had to hustle to make it happen. I started getting paid $250 a week. Hit the next slide. I want y'all to see this. This will start happening, right? Then I got to 75 students in my organization. 75 people learn how to trade. I went up to $500 a week. $500 a week. Do you know, boy, ain't no more chicken. Now $500, all hot dogs, all that government cheese that don't melt. But then I just kept growing. I got into, now I need you to hear this. This is a very true story. I started in December of 2016. By January of 2017, I was a Platinum 5000. I had 200, it took me a month. I had 225 students that were learning how to trade. I started getting paid $1,250 a week. When you hungry, you're going to make it happen. And that's what I started doing. Then I started sharing the opportunity. The more people start making money, by the second month, by what? I was a chairman 10. I made chairman 10 in 2 months. I had 500 people in my organization. 500. My check every week was $2,500 base, not including the 35, 10, and the 5. My wife looked at me. You know it got to be the spirit when she said, Daddy. I wasn't daddy before chairman 10. I was just in the house. And she looked and she said, and I told her, I remember giving this section. She was a school teacher, and I said, I want you to quit. I'm in the middle of the school year. I don't care about them kids. Don't get another teacher. You come home. Baby, I just can't quit in the middle of the school year. I said, you didn't hear what I said. Come home. She said, at least let me finish half the school year. I said, all right, I'll let you finish school year. So the middle year came. I said, you coming home? Let me just finish the rest of the year. I said, I told you. Now, what I thought I was going to get was a stay-at-home wife. Like you get breakfast. When she came home, I'm like, oh, it's on now. And I gave her a good 2 weeks to rest up. I don't gonna answer. The third week came, I'm laying in the bed, I'm looking at her, I said, what you doing? What you doing? I said, eggs or something. She said, you better get there and fix them eggs yourself. I said, I was bringing you home. She said, ain't nobody told me cooking was in this. Oh, no. I said, she said, I didn't come home to go to work. You fix it for both of us. I said, oh, no. Going back to school. She said, oh, it's too late now. And we've been home, and I have to tell you this is so true. I was so happy to bring her home. I was so happy to be able to provide for the family. Do you know what it's like to be able to buy school clothes? And they real school clothes? The feeling of joy that comes over you as a man, you'll be able to take care of your own. That's what Chairman 10 did. Then by June of 2017, I became Chairman 25. I had 1,250 people in my organization. All of them were learning how to trade. I was teaching them how to trade myself. My check every week was $6,250. I would make it a month where people make, my month, with all my bonuses, was a little over $30,000 a month. Teaching people how to trade, doing what I love to do, a month. Then by December 2017, I became a Chairman 50. I had more than 2,500 people in my organization, just kept sharing, kept making sure that people were learning, kept making money. I got to $50,000 a month base. My base pay is $50,000. Last month, my wife pulled my check, I did like $68,000. Time out. That's no trading. My $68,000 comes from the company. Now, what do you make trading? Right? So I average about trading, let's put multiple mid-level six figures every month. When I say mid-level, at least more than $500,000. Just trading. Now, I need y'all to hear me. You ain't talking to no average Joe here, right? I came down here to say, if you let me teach you, if you let me teach you. I got my friend who's a nurse. I can't wait to see her tomorrow. Make sure she gets this and understands it. I'm going to pour myself into all of the people who are connected. That's why my organization keeps growing. It keeps growing because they're getting all of me, not some of me. I make sure we talk to each other. We stay online with each other. And listen, you don't even have to be on my team when I teach you. That's why leaders don't mind sending their people to what I do, because I'm in this so that, here's a true statistic. I don't care what anyone says. When you have a bad experience, you tell 10 people. When you have a good one, you tell 2 people. Now, if we let you have bad experiences, it'll be hard for people to get in this room because they got to you before they got to me. So that's why I help everybody so nobody will have a problem. So if you learn how to trade, it just makes me look better when I can go into the room and there's somebody there that's for me on my team and I can share with them and they had a good report. But if you got to them before I got to them, and you know you broke too, when you broke and you have a problem, that story becomes that much more intensified. Girl, I would never. Shh. Trading, that stuff don't work. They lying. He lying. I did it. I ain't make a dime. And they're passionate about their brokenness. Then you come out, somebody invites you. My girlfriend, my girlfriend, my mama, my sister, my cousin, my brother, my niece, my nephew told me about that, and they ain't make no money. I come with my story. Not for me, because you've already made up your mind by somebody's bad experience. So I ask you, give me the opportunity to show you firsthand what we could do if we all decide to come together. So with that being the case, next slide, these are our bonuses that come, and I'm done. We have different bonuses that come with each one. At Chairman 50, I got an extra $25,000 bonus. Yes, I did. Ooh. So I'm on my way to Chairman 100. I'm proud of that. I should be at Chairman 100 here shortly. We're going to do a big celebration about it. Chairman 100 makes $130,000 a month. Ain't bad, ain't it? That still won't come close to what I make in trade. I don't want you to miss the bigger picture. The bigger picture is, yes, you can make money with building a business, but if you decided to sit down and we learn together. You know, the best thing about having a mentor is a mentor makes sure that you don't fall in the same holes that they fell in. And they accelerate your success faster. Let me ask y'all a question from Florida to Alabama to everywhere else. Can I show you how I made this money? Will you give me the opportunity to show you how I did it? Look, and I ain't gonna charge you. I'm gonna give it to you if you want it. Well, because you and your husband gonna drive home tonight. I just don't know. What? Right, she came by herself. I like that. She said, I ain't drive this far to play. I came by myself. But listen, this is what we're going to do. Tonight, you get a chance to enroll in our program if you want. On tomorrow, those who are enrolled, and if you're not enrolled, it doesn't matter. I just want you to see what we do. I want you to see how much money we make. I want you to see the testimony from my students. I'm going to make sure that some of them are on live. I want them to talk to you. I want you to ask them questions. They ain't scared, right? I want you to ask them questions, and then I want them to show you how much money they made this week. Not 2 weeks ago. Today. Yesterday. They made what? And I want you to hear the testimonies because we have a debt cancellation challenge that's going on right now. A debt cancellation. So we started September the 17th. We're doing it for 90 days. At the end of the 90 days, everybody's going to come together and say what they paid off. And we're doing a live documentary. Live. Right? We'll be interviewed by a television station. All this, I'm taking this to a whole nother level because I want people to know that we're not playing. We're not playing. We're going to show people how to pay off their debt through this. So with that being said, I want to thank y'all so much for being out here. Pastor, Apostle, thank you so much for having me, sir. I greatly appreciate you for letting me come all the way down here to the SIP. The SIP. I didn't know they called it the SIP till one of my homeboys like, you going to the SIP? I said, what's that? I said, what's that? He said, Mississippi, they call it the SIP. I said, I've never heard that. But I'm down in the SIP tonight. Thank y'all so much. Listen, would you do me a favor? People typically clap when I'm done. Would you mind giving me a hand clap if that's all right? Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much. To our online audience, thank y'all so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you all. I'm going to turn this back over to the awesome pastor of this church. Let him have some closing remarks, and then we're done. Pastor, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. You're very welcome. Very welcome.
Let's give Doc a hand again. Say, Doc, we love you in the SIP.